You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks!
I thought you were going to go with everybody there.
Welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Mitchell.
And today we are live for our live board game call-in show Thursday night from, and I don't want to mess it up. Where are we, Mitchell?
New Orleans, not New Orleans, not Nolans,
Nolans?
not New Orleans.
Oh, come on.
Orleans.
Nolans. Yeah,
New
I like
Orleans.
Nolans.
New
Yeah.
Orleans.
I'll take New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And with an S at the end.
Yes.
And while we're here, we are playing and have played
Orleans.
Orleans. No S at the end.
Orleans. Not if you say Orleans. If you say Orleans, it's with the S. Orleans is without the S.
And we're going to open up our phone line. 813-618-7099 is the phone number.
We are a podcast about how we game.
That is true.
Yeah,
it is a
gotta throw
podcast
that in.
about how we game.
Got to throw that in there every time. So
We already got BJ in the comments saying Les bon temps roulé.
awesome.
Rob was just saying
I
he was so
was.
disappointed he only saw that in like 2 different places so far.
I
New
taught my
Orleans.
wife before we came down. She knows zero French. I took 4 years of French in high school, and
No, I've never heard you say that before.
Oh yeah, well, I got to get it out there on the airwaves now. So you've heard it a bunch of times, but anyway. So on the way down here, I told her, I was like, you got to learn les bon temps roulé because you're going to see that all over New Orleans. It's going to be a thing everywhere we look. And then we came down yesterday. Her and I flew in yesterday morning, waiting for Carlos to drive all the way here.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And we went shopping and walking around all day. And I think I saw 2 shops. One had a T-shirt, and then one had a sign for the wall that had the Les bon temps roulé on it. And I was like, oh, I got to eat my words because it used to be a bigger thing, maybe. And Mitchell says it's still kind of a thing, but
Yeah, maybe just not printed on things.
I guess not. Yeah.
BJ will make up for it. I'm sure
And we
he'll
saw
say it a lot this
we saw
weekend.
let the good times roll in a lot of places, and so I don't know if they're getting more away from the French side of things. And
I saw some signage like when I pulled into the state about casinos. Is that a thing out here?
Oh, they've got some. Yeah. There's
do you
one
mean?
just out.
Casinos?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Casino. Yeah.
Right, like,
Yeah.
you know, we only have a couple in Florida.
Oh, no, there's a lot around here. Yeah.
Because it looked like a small hut, but it had like a huge sign that said casino.
Yeah. They
And
got
I'm
the
like-
Harris. The Harris is just right up the road here.
I was like, that's bait. That is a trap.
Diego says he hopes Mitchell calls in first tonight.
Oh, I think he already did. He's already beat you
I think
to it.
Diego needs to call in. Diego, longtime listener, and I don't think he's ever called. Stop me if
Called
I'm
out.
wrong, folks.
I don't believe Diego has ever called. No.
How about you call in and tell us whether or not you've called before?
You know,
for
there's
sure.
a button I can put the comments on that little screen.
Okay, you want to get up
I'm
and do
gonna-
that?
I'm gonna
Or
do
he's gonna
that.
disappear for a moment, but
Bryson's chiming into the French. Les non temps.
Bryce
But-
is
Oh, yeah.
my son's friend from elementary school. I think they're both in 5th grade.
oh yeah.
You're not sure what grade your own son is in?
I have a lot of
Yeah, he's got
children.
four of them
Well, I'm
now.
pretty sure the baby's not in school.
Yeah, 4 qualifies as a lot. So
All right, let's see if Carlos screws this up.
yeah, Carlos is touching the thing. So if you see his finger moving around, I know when he was in the tent, I was giving him a hard time because he kept fingering the screen, and I was like, "Whoa, get the fingers out of there!" So
I didn't realize I was shaking the screen as much as I was.
yeah. On remote, we are just set up here with just the. He's using the cell phone as the camera, but he's got the whole setup here with the audio. Hopefully, it's coming through well to everyone. But he's got the board here, and then obviously we've all 3 got mics and headphones. So this is pretty nice. We just set up here in the. You wouldn't call this the lobby, I guess. This is what the breakfast nook, the
dining area.
dining area of the hotel.
You got like hardwired internet cable lines on this table
Yeah.
here that we're at, so people can do business and work stuff. We're in the Hampton Inn in the French Quarter, of
yeah.
downtown
Nolans.
New Orleans.
What are you guys doing in Louisiana?
We are here
yeah,
for
there you go.
a
That's important.
board game festival.
The Sobo.
And from what I understand, a festival includes music.
That's what we were told today, actually, at lunch. Yeah.
Well, we're at lunch. We were getting some jambalaya,
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Board game Gumbalaya.
Gumbo and
BJ,
jambalaya.
That's the new
Yeah.
name.
We got some red beans and rice.
Yeah. Mhm.
We got some. What's that other one?
You got
Etouffee?
crawfish etouffee, not
Etouffee.
jambalaya.
Yeah.
And-
we
and
didn't get the jambalaya, but well, that's to come.
The guy who was cooking it was talking to us about. I said, "Oh yeah, like a festival." He's like, "Yeah, festivals have music.
Yeah,
That's what makes them a
He says
festival."
that's what makes a festival here.
Typically, yeah, I don't think there's going to be music at
The
Sobo.
Sobo?
Sorry if that's false advertising.
No, okay.
Sobo is what?
Southern Board Game Festival, Lafayette, Louisiana.
And it's funny because it's true. Although Robert and I are from Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
which officially is not Central Florida. It is South Florida.
Yeah, officially.
Officially, it's South Florida.
Southwest Florida.
Although it's in the center of the state.
Yeah.
We drove north. I drove north. He flew north to head south. Because I really do feel like the more north I drove, the more southern
that happens.
the experience got.
Yeah, when you get up to Georgia and Alabama, Mississippi, all that, yeah, you're in the South.
I felt like I really hit the southern.
in the deep South. Yeah.
Yeah, I went north to go deep south. But we are here for Sobo, Southern Board Game Fest. I'm super excited because it's going to be, although it's not 24 hours of gaming, they are opening it up tomorrow for us. So we get Friday night gaming.
Yeah.
We've got Saturday gaming, and I think our hotel is right across the street from the campus where we're at. And then we'll be gaming Sunday. And I think the hotel that we're at is a Hampton Inn like this.
Okay.
And they have an area like this. So, I mean, this is normal for Hampton Inns with this large table and space to play in.
Okay.
So I really think we can keep gaming going at night after the
Invite
contract is
everybody
over.
over to your room.
Yep.
Your
There you go.
family won't be sleeping or anything.
No, not the room. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
no,
like
I'm
the
joking.
dining area,
Down
man.
here, yeah.
Well-
We've done that many places. We've done that in Atlanta. We've done that a couple different places. Just commandeer the lobby or the dining area of the hotel and just set up and game.
Like we did tonight, yeah. I don't know if the comment came up on the screen, but
It did. I was going to say, be
Oh,
careful
yeah.
what you put in. Usually we're selective on the comments that we choose, but looks like this time Carlos got it set up so every comment's just popping right up when it's typed in. So
BJ said there's music all weekend 200 feet from us. So yeah, there's
Okay.
Festival of Cardia,
there you go.
which is literally a catacorner across the street in the park there. I think we're gonna grab some food there tomorrow night before we
Oh,
game.
I'm so
Yep.
excited.
But BJ said he's happy to sing Cajun songs if needed.
Oh, okay.
So
well, we can do that at the table.
knowing
yeah.
BJ, you
Mid-game?
probably want to shy away from that.
Oh,
so.
okay. It's not a singer. Yeah.
Not his thing.
Yeah.
He sings on his stream a lot. For some reason, he continues to do that. But
And Carlos was very excited today to find out that you can open carry,
open carry alcohol.
yeah, alcohol in New Orleans. So that was a thing he didn't know till he got
we
here.
passed by a cop and he was like, "What did you say? Like
He
salute?"
was holding up and shaking it, and yeah.
It's like, you can't do anything.
New Orleans is one of the few places in the United States where you can just walk around the streets with an open container. So
I mean, had I known that sooner, I
Yeah.
would have been downstairs like at 11 o'clock.
laughing at the cops, going, "Ah, look what I got!"
He was like a school kid. He was so
He
giddy.
was so
It's
excited.
like he walked out of the restaurant with it in his hand, and he was shaking with anxiety. He was
He's
like,
like, you could finish that beer in here, and he's like, no, I got to take it outside. I got to walk with this beer. So-
And this is what we've been doing today. We did the World War II, the National
Yep.
World War II History Museum.
Yep.
I think the D-Day Museum is kind of specific to its theme,
Okay.
which got me really, like I was telling Mitchell that when we were there, the dioramas, the models that are there, the explanations of all the historical events that occurred during D-Day and the lead up to D-Day was, I mean, it really had me wanting to play all those historical games that I own.
Memoir and
Yeah,
et cetera,
Memoir
et cetera.
44, Bolt Action. I mean, Fantasy Flight Games has the whole series of oh man, what was the name of that series, Robert? It was a great one. We played it before.
Was it the air combat? No.
No, but they had the Air Combat, the World War II one as well, the Wings of
Fear-
Glory.
Wings of Glory, yep.
What used to be Wings of War turned into Wings of
I was gonna
Glory.
say Wings of War, yeah.
There's so many different games that I can think of all going through there, looking at the models and listening to the history involved. And it got me thinking, like, man, I kind of feel bad seeing war and learning about war. And then one of the first things I think of is I want to go play war, right? Like I
A
want to.
war game, yeah. Yeah.
Is that
like
is that
how soon is too soon kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And
Like
it's a little
it-
touchy with the other stuff that's going on around the
Exactly.
world right now,
like
but yeah.
you wouldn't go home and play, invade Ukraine,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
this was just as bad, but it was a few decades ago, right? So
Yeah, we were
it's a good
reflecting
topic.
on how similar it is to what's going on in the world today. I mean, it's kind of scary when I'm pretty ignorant on the whole history of the World War II, and I got to step up today. I learned a lot of stuff, but hearing these two guys talk about all the similarities and what's going on over in Europe now, it's a little scary. But yeah,
Yeah, because we saw a lot of it in the maps and the conversations about the areas that we're talking about. They're really not that far apart.
yeah,
So it's like I don't know. It felt weird going through it and thinking the first thing I'm thinking about is, ooh, I want to play a game.
yeah,
Because I didn't bring Memoir with me, but I did bring Blitzkrieg World War II in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Right. So Robert and I are going to play that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we've had the the World War II Museum. We are going to play a World War II game.
Yeah, Mitchell can play 2 if he wants, but
It is only 2-player.
oh yeah,
we
2
do
at a
need.
time. Yeah.
Did you ever play Caesar with us, Mitchell?
I've not played Caesar. I
Okay.
played Blitzkrieg.
You have played Blitzkrieg. Okay, so you don't get to do the comparison, but
Oh, yeah, we're going to do that at some point. We're going to do a little video on comparison. But yeah, believe it or not, I was going to say we are a board game channel, so we are going to talk
know,
about
right,
board
yeah.
games.
we
as
are
well.
talking board games.
Okay.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
we're
I
going
felt a
to-
little
we're coming
guilty
back to
about
it.
wanting to play games
Yeah.
after learning about war stuff.
I mean, call in and tell us your opinion on that. I
Yeah,
think that's
right.
a really
Yeah.
good topic.
Yeah.
But then I got to the gift shop, and they had this whole like Lego landing craft setup.
Yeah.
And it was literally just a table, looked like a war game table, but instead of terrain, it's all Lego, like Lego waves and Lego beach.
There was
and
bodies
Lego,
scattered all over the
Yeah.
place.
right, and Lego
yeah.
pillboxes and
Yeah.
like little Lego bodies, spread out and all the. And I was like, wow. I mean, if
That's a sad Lego. It was kind of sad. Yeah.
Kind of like this show so far. All
Yeah,
the doom and
yeah.
gloom. Maybe we should talk about the game
Little
we just
gloomy.
played.
yeah, we did play a board game. Yeah.
yep, and that's the other thing we themed.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Yeah.
find a game to theme to.
New Orleans.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of not saying it correctly.
What's your net? Yeah.
813-618-7099 is the number. Interrupt us, talk to us, tell us what you think about gaming historical, right? That's a
Yeah.
topic, that's
Yeah.
a theme. Gaming and traveling, that's a theme that we're dealing with, is having to travel and figure out what games we're taking.
Or just what you've been playing. I mean,
that too, yeah.
It-
Whatever you've been playing.
yeah.
But we themed, I couldn't find other games that would theme to New Orleans, Louisiana, that I owned, other than what Rob owns, Orleans.
Yep. Yeah.
Orleans.
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 One of my favorites. I've said in the past that it was I think it was a top 5 game for me for a long time. Probably in the last year and a half or 2 years, it slightly dropped.
We're gonna get an education on how to say Orleans. It-
Oh, it was gonna be.
Oh, we got a call coming in.
Okay, he's gonna play. Mitchell actually looked up the official pronunciation of Orleans. Here we go. Orleans. So yeah, it is definitely Orleans. That's a thing. So yeah, again, officially no Orleans if it's not. So. But anyway, Carlos is screening a call here just to make sure, and we're gonna bring it on. We just got a new tool to play with.
All right, so I screened that call. Caller, state your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Mitchell Prudhomme from New Iberia.
Hey, Mitch, we were waiting for your first call.
Well, thank you for keeping
Hey,
the keeping the
BJ from
record.
Board Game Gumbo.
What's up, BJ? Thanks for calling
Hey,
in, man.
BJ.
Great show so far, guys. Sounds like New Orleans is fun. And yes, Mitchell, there will be singing all con.
Oh, all con singing. So it's not just for the night or just for the one game. It's going to be an all con thing.
So what you're saying is I should be glad I haven't signed up for your playthroughs, so I don't have to hear it, right?
Absolutely. You need to sign up. I'll fit you in.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you guys are going to be at the hotel, you know that the festival stays open until almost midnight every night. Come on, man.
Oh, it does.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought somebody had said a lot earlier that the close. I thought it was 10 o'clock or something we had heard, but
We'll
It
see.
was
It just
11.
depends,
11, yeah.
You know?
11.
Yeah, because I went
And
to
also, by
a
the
historical
way-
convention and they shut down at 9 o'clock. It was like 9 o'clock. They were shutting down. They were done.
Oh, okay.
That was weird.
And also, don't forget that Lafayette is an open board game town. You can leave, you can walk around. With
you
your
can
board
walk around
games
with your board
wide
games
open.
out in the open. Wow, that
Glad
is-
I keep them in my
That
pocket.
is crazy. That is crazy. Oh yeah, we didn't mention. I guess we should specifically mention that we are in New Orleans for the next couple of days. Carlos and I just us and our families had not been here, so we figured we'd stop here for a few days. But the actual convention, I don't know if we mentioned, is in Lafayette, which I understand is about 2 hours west of where we're at.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
okay, so we're going to be making the drive over tomorrow afternoon, and from what I understand, there's going to be some board game goodness going on tomorrow night. BJ.
Absolutely. So Friday night is the pre-festivities. We got people from Texas. We got people from Shreveport. We have 2 guys from Tampa, even all the way from Tampa.
3, actually.
Florida. I wouldn't let
Dan's
Florida
gonna-
people in there. That's kind of crazy. But
Yeah, I hear they're jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not the official part of the con. This is just kind of a little board game gumbo pre-event.
Nice.
We'll be setting up the con mainly, and then right next door is Festival Acadiana Creole, which is a traditional festival with music and food, and we're just gonna. As Mitchell said earlier, it's literally across the street. So we're 200 feet from all the food and fun you can want. So we'll go get some maybe get some fried crawfish po' boys or some jambalaya or something.
2 thumbs
and then
up.
we'll sneak back, and we've got plenty of place to play. We've got the test room, and we can stay there until midnight. Game.
Awesome.
Play all the games.
That's what we want to do. That's what we're there for.
You got me with the po' boys.
Play all the games.
And BJ, you'll be teaching a couple of guided playthroughs, Beyond the Sun and Reavers of Midgard, right?
I'm teaching Beyond the Sun, and I'm also teaching the Beyond the Sun of Viking worker placement games called Reavers of Midgard.
I was gonna say I heard that Beyond the Sun.
I think we've played Reavers of Mid. No, we have not.
We have not played Reavers. No,
No,
we played.
that's the one we haven't
Yeah,
played.
we played Champions of Midgard, but not Reavers.
So BJ, let me
Bring
ask some
them up.
questions
Bring
about.
out.
Let me ask some questions about Sobo. What's the impetus of it? How did it start? It sounds like you're involved in this convention. Kind of describe your involvement and give the folks at home a little bit of history about Sobo and what y'all have been doing gaming-wise here in Louisiana.
Quick history. Me and a couple of guys were talking about doing a board game convention for a local charity wanted help. And then we found out that John Newman beat us to the punch. John Newman is the director of the New Hope Foundation. They provide mentoring and life skills and after-school care for youth, disadvantaged youths, under-resourced youth on the north side of town. They do. It's a wonderful charity. They're doing God's work out there, man. And so this is a big fundraiser for them each year. Obviously, the last 2 years have been a struggle. We haven't been able to do Sobo, but we've been growing it from a very small little 80-person, 100-person, and we're on track to just keep getting it bigger and bigger every year. So that's what it is. It's a fundraiser for New Hope Foundation, but it's more than that. There's, you have the New Hope people, but you got the Board Game Gumbo guys. You got Mitchell and all this crew from New Iberia. You've got the Sinlaw group from Alexandria. You've got the Baton Rouge Gamers. They're going to be coming in with a bunch of people. In fact, our friends from Punchboard Media, I Heart Board Games, who run a YouTube channel, Jesse and Melissa will be there again. They're going to be live streaming all day on Saturday and Sunday, and I hear there's some special guests that will be on the live stream.
Oh,
so
baby.
if people stick around.
Nice.
They might see some Tampa people.
I brought some microphones. I don't know.
Yeah, we got a few
if there's an
extra
opening,
mics,
I got
yeah.
some
We
microphones.
just go plug in. We're just going to take over the show. Yeah.
I hear Louisiana has open carry for microphones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just walk around the streets with your
It's
microphones.
open carry from microphone.
You can
Yeah,
say
yeah.
Louisiana is the
Yeah,
Beyond the
Jesse-
Sun of states.
Oh, it's Beyond the Sun of States. I don't know if I've heard that, but.
Well, Beyond the Sun hasn't broached my top 10, so maybe I could agree with that.
Bah, boo.
Undefeated.
It's got food, it's got fun, it's got board games, and it's got Mitchell Pruitt. What more do you need, Charlie?
Hey,
How can you beat that?
founding member of the Beans and Dice podcast.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Nice.
Occasionally, he has a guest,
By the way,
Carlos
I'm
and
glad
Rob,
you
on
guys-
there.
I'm glad you guys got to see the World War II Museum. I used to take my scouts there every couple of years.
Nice.
My dad loved that place. That is just a fantastic museum. I mean, it's, as you know, it's on every bit as par as the Smithsonian, just in a smaller,
Exactly.
smaller area. But
Yep.
but it's not small. I mean, it takes a whole day to see everything you've got.
BJ, have you been here in the last few years? They've added so much since the last time I was here. They have
No, I
it's
actually, my kids are grown. My kids are grown and gone now, so it's been a while since I've been. But when I was there last, they had just opened up the Pacific Theater, but I know they added like 2 more blocks worth of stuff. So I need to go back and see.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 buildings now. We got there. We couldn't even find out where to go in. We were like, is that building or is it that building? We had to look around for the entrance.
Yeah, there's places where you're
I
walking
know what they
around
told
feeling
you.
like you're on a deck of a carrier.
Yeah.
There's whole tours of entire theaters of Europe and the Pacific Theater.
Yeah.
I mean, it was big. I've been to a lot of World War II museums. This was I told Mitchell this was on level with Mickey Mouse Disneyland level of set
Immersion.
set immersion.
Yeah.
Well, you probably know by now Stephen Ambrose, the gifted writer about World War II. He
I've
was,
read many of his
the writer
novels.
of Band of
about him
Brothers.
earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
I've
well,
read
then
many of his novels.
Stephen Ambrose was one of the founders before he passed away. So that thing is like a big homage to Stephen. Even more important for our purposes, I don't know if you knew this. They actually do. You had talked about wargaming. They actually do have a wargaming society that meets at the well, I still call it the Navy Museum, the National World War II Museum. That was the original name.
Yep.
But they still meet there and play war games, and they have a once-a-year convention just for war games.
Oh gosh, we got to find that
Now,
out.
now you got Carlos peaked here, so
Yeah.
now that's got to have him for a return trip.
No, because
bet.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a big fluff gamer. Y'all know that. I'm all about theme. And when I do
You're fluffy.
wargaming, I'm
Fluffy.
fluffy.
Yeah.
I'm not fat. I'm fluffy. Anyway,
we went somewhere else there, but go ahead, continue.
I like gaming and I like fluff. And for me, wargaming fluff is Stephen Ambrose. Like I've read D-Day, Citizen Soldiers, the Band of Brothers series, the Pacific series. I mean, the guy writes in a way that's amazing to me because he takes, and for y'all war gamers or those interested in wargaming, Stephen Ambrose is the place to go because he will take historical documents, reports, military action reports, find out who was involved. And of course, he's passed away now, but when he did it, he would go interview these folks to get their personal stories from when they were there. And then he intermingles these actual factual reports with these personal stories to give them life in ways that I just can't explain. I mean, the books are thick, like Bible-thick books.
Oh, yeah, it was a big one you
but
showed
they're
us today.
awesome to read.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed New Orleans. We're 2 hours to the west, and we're 5 hours more of fun. So come on down to Lafayette.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that, yeah.
Let's have some fun at Southern Board Game Fest, or as we affectionately call it, Sobo. We're super excited to see the Deans and Dice crew. Especially, I'm really excited to shake the hands of founding member Mitchell Prudhomme. I can't wait to
There you go, absolutely.
That's right.
And just as a last-minute bit here, I mean, if anybody's interested in coming out at the last minute, how do they get tickets, and how much are they?
Man, so we had the pre-sales at $40. If they give me $300, I would be glad to give them my ticket.
There you go.
I'll even autograph it for them. No, I'm not supposed to say this, but I would probably say we're not going to turn you down at the door if you want a day of ticket. So
we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
Okay.
But if you showed up, we would not turn you down.
There you go. Okay.
Probably not turn you down. So yeah, no, we'll make arrangements. This convention, this festival is all about bringing meeples together, and that's trying to get new people into the hobby, and also satisfy all the people that love board gaming, but can't go to BGG Con or Gen Con or PAX or any of those things. They want to experience it. Patrick Newman and Cindy Newman are coming up from League City. This will be they've been board gaming for a while, but they've never been to the convention. This will be their very first convention, so I'm so excited to show them.
Listen, it is not lost on me.
Library.
It is not lost on me that Robert and I are in a great location, right? We are nearby multiple gaming conventions.
Yep.
Not everyone in the country has that.
For sure.
And in this region, you're not east enough to be near an Atlanta, like a one-day trip to Atlanta or a one-day trip to Miami or Orlando, right? So it is almost a little devoid of larger cons. So what you're doing here is great. It's great work. Now, we've had con directors as guests on the show, and BJ, I'd love to begin working with you to schedule you on as a guest, because I want to interview and talk to you more about how to put on a con for charity's sake.
Yeah.
I love that conversation we had a little earlier today when you first called in and talking about the charity. I didn't know that. These are things I didn't know. And Robert and I have always talked about, well, how can we take what we do and turn it around for the community,
help others,
to uplift the community.
Yeah,
make
the only
things
problem
better.
is that I'm a little. Yeah, the only problem is I'm a little shy, but you could probably force it out.
Oh, okay. We could twist your arm and get you to come on a little bit. Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you being that first phone call. Acting as Mitchell to keep the record going.
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch.
Got to keep the record going. Well, look, guys, see you guys tomorrow night. I am still packing up the Game Toppers LLC table. That's going to be ready for this game stream. That's right. Make your game night a showstopper when you play on a Game Topper. We're going to have that ready for the live stream for Saturday and Sunday. I'm still packing my games. In fact, there's a cool game that somebody gave me the other night, Meadow. You guys have got to.
Oh, yeah.
I
I've heard of that one.
at his house, and he
I
claimed
thought
it
he was
as
going to
his.
Beyond the Sun again, is what I figured he was
I
going
heard
to.
you were
but-
auctioning it off for charity. I think I already
I
bid
wanted
on
to
it.
play
Oh,
to win.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah,
are looking forward to seeing
the
you.
inside cover. It's got my name on the inside cover, so I'm assuming it's mine. It looks
There
like
you
my
go.
handwriting. Though.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Thanks,
We're gonna play
BJ.
some games.
Appetite for fun. That's all I have.
Bring what? What would you say?
Bring an appetite for fun.
Appetite for fun. There you go. Appetite for fun.
That I can do.
We can definitely do that.
Les ball roulette.
Hey,
There you go.
got it,
I got it. I got it out of you. Yep. Nice.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right, folks, that opens up the phone line, 813-618-7099. And you know what I ever did? I never hit record.
Oh, you were going to record tonight just in case
That was
something
it.
went wrong
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
it.
But yeah, you got to.
We gotta count on the.
You need to put a big red sticker on here or something.
You mean that giant
Hit
green
record.
button?
Well, I mean that's big enough, but
that's
you need a
glowing
red thing. Yeah, that
and
says
like-
push this to record. Yeah. Oh well.
So something that's unique about Sobo, I haven't seen at other cons. Tell me if you guys have seen it. So we have over 50 play-to-win games. And what that means is, like, if you play a game one time on the list, your name gets put in a hat to be drawn, and you might bring that copy of the game home. Have you guys seen that? At other
I
cons?
haven't seen it. Dice Tower, before the pandemic, before they had to cancel the last 2 Dice Tower East conventions, they were planning to do what they call a play and take, and they've had to put that off because of the pandemic. And I heard they got that from somewhere else. There was another major convention that had done that a few times, but that is something I've been interested in. I was like, oh, how does this play and take thing? But
Well, the only bad thing about it is, like, I feel like I got to sit there and, like, play only those games. you know? Go down the list.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So you could try to get one of those freebies. Yeah.
So I know Jamie Stegmeyer is a friend of the show, so I don't want to be too
Oh,
too
yeah.
hard on him. But
Oh, uh-oh.
so at the last Sobo, which now is like 2-3 years ago before COVID, we were playing some of the play to wins, and one of the play to win games was Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. We played it. No one in our group enjoyed it.
Oh, so-
we were like, knowing
Whoops.
we said no one.
How do y'all not like that game?
It's not one of my preferred ones.
Really?
Either, but yeah.
Okay, tell your story and then we'll come back to
Okay.
it.
Anyway, so we all said, "Man, knowing our luck, we're gonna win." I won it.
Where is it?
Where's it
Where's the
now?
game now?
Now?
Did you leave it at
Is it on your
BJ's
shelf
house?
or did you?
It's one of the only games I've ever sold.
Oh,
Wow.
you sold it. Won it
Yeah.
and sold it. Wow.
All right, hold on. I can't walk over that.
Hold that thought. Yeah.
I played it. I received let's just be straight through. Received a review copy of
Oh, yeah.
Between the Castles of Mad
Two
King
castles.
Ludwig.
Yep, yep.
2 castles.
Yeah, between 2 castles.
There's multiple. There's more
Yeah,
than 2.
yeah.
We've played Mad King Ludwig, Castle Mad King Ludwig.
The castles.
I did not like it.
Yep. You didn't like the bidding.
Yes.
System. Yeah.
The bidding system, and not only that, when you lose a bid or when you pay the other person.
Pay the other person.
So,
So it's closed economy. Yeah.
yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Closed economy. I didn't like that. But I played the 2 castles between Mad King Ludwig and immediately went and bought Between Two Cities. Like, went home.
I know you liked it. Yeah, I read it off the bat. You said you liked it. I was like, okay.
I love that whole feeling of the co-op. Maybe that's what it is. You don't like semi-co-op, Robert.
I don't like semi-co-op. Yeah, and I guess you could consider that
I call it a
semi-co-op.
semi-co-op.
I would never have thought of it that way, but I guess you could consider
there's
You
it.
only
and
one
me
winner,
are working
yeah.
together to build this castle as best we can.
But right, it's not completely co-op because you have somebody on the other side that you're also trying to do that with, and you're taking the better of the two. But we got a call coming in.
So have you played?
Or he's going to try to screen
You played
that.
Tiny Towns before?
I have not. I know all about Tiny Towns. I know what that's all about.
It
so.
kind of reminds me of a bigger version of Tiny Towns where you're sharing your town.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of Tiny Towns either.
Yeah.
It's all because you have to keep track of, I get this many points if this is next to this, and maybe it's just too puzzly for me.
Yeah, it's kind of a bingo kind of thing. But all right, looks like
All right, we got a call.
queued up, yeah.
Folks, I'm screening phone calls now.
Yeah,
This
we're-
is
We
amazing.
have to figure this out a little bit. We got some things, but go ahead.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey guys, it's Wayne from Tampa. How you
Hey,
doing?
Wade.
My man.
I was I don't know where you guys are. I mean, could be a delay in the show, but I was listening to the play and take that
Yep.
that you guys are gonna have this weekend at the con, and Necronomicon in Tampa a couple of years ago had a similar thing where they had like they mailed out to all the different publishers and they got like 30 or 40 games to take and play,
Okay.
and there were some issues with it. And
Oh,
it
okay.
Was, a lot of the people, yeah. So like it worked real well for some people, but then there was a bunch of people that realized, well, if they check the game out of the library and write their name that they played it and then check it back in, they did it for all the take and play games, but they didn't actually play them.
Oh,
So
okay.
they probably they didn't do a good job of making sure that if you took a game from the take and play that you actually had it out long enough to play the game
Got to
to
time
earn
it.
your entry.
Yeah, you got to have a little bit
Yeah,
of
you're
economic
or
system
just
there.
what do you do? So you have some dishonest people that just want to try to win a free game, and they would take it. They would check it out, write their name in, and check it back in.
Yeah, but
never
it's the city
played.
where that convention is hosted at is what worries me, is those people. I mean, where's that that Necromonicon? Where's that at?
It's in Tampa.
Sorry
my
about
bad.
that. Sorry about that.
That kind of reminds me at the Dice Tower retreat. They had what was it called?
Get in that microphone. Get in that
Sorry.
mic.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Whatever it was called, where you bring a game.
What was that?
Kind of like
Oh yeah. And so you're talking about what Tom Vassell said. I was going to go to that, but you
The game exchange.
the
game exchange. So
yeah.
you bring a game, and then they pull your names out of a hat, and then you get to pick one of the other games. And there was no, corroborations. Like, hey, I have a game. Okay, put it on the table. 2 days later, hey, if you brought a game, come and put your name in here. So again,
Were
it's
you
kind
there
of
when somebody asked Tom about that, though? I was standing there when somebody came up and they asked him. They said, well, why wouldn't I just, because he gave the slips out to fill out. If you had played, you just filled out the slip and you turned it in or whatever. And then so somebody asked him, they were like, well, how do you know for sure who actually gave a game? And Tom's answer was, Tom Vassal on the Dice Tower, his answer was, if somebody is that hard up to get a free game, that it's going to happen. They're going to find out a way to beat the system. They're going to find out a way to do it. He goes, we're on the honor system. Gamers tend to be pretty honest people. If it happens, it happens. So if you put your name in, you're going to get a game. So
Well, it sounds like people learn how to get around the system and what Wayne's story's about.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because at the end of the, you had to be there on Sunday to win the game, and they would the guy who ran the games at Necro, he basically the night before or Saturday, Sunday afternoon, whatever, he sat through and looked through all the games, and if your name was on all 40 games, he eliminated you from
Oh, wow.
chances of winning. And there was a couple people that were pissed. He's like, He's like, yeah, you mean to tell me you played all 40 of these games in 2 days? Get out of here. He's like, that's not true.
My man.
So they never ended up doing it. They did other stuff differently where they would give away, like if you played in a game, and like usually what they did is they had games run by players. Like, so I could volunteer to run 4 or 5 games in the convention, and I get a free ticket. And each time I play, I would hand out a ticket to people who played in the game. And then at the end, they would give away free games based upon people that played in the games. So they modified the system a little afterwards, but it was a little disheartening that one to see some people. Not a lot, but it was a handful of guys that thought it was a fun idea to just write their name down on all 40 games or
Right.
check out all just try to, and like you said, if you're really that hard up to win a game, that's
Yeah.
kind of bad.
That's
But,
what Tom said. If somebody's willing to
it is
lie
what it is.
about it and to try to beat the system that way, then whatever. They're probably going to find a way.
One
to
of
do
his
it.
recent board game breakfasts was about rules,
Yeah.
following rules, and
Yeah.
talking about how amazed he is that of a group of society, a subset of society, us known as board gamers, who agree to play by a set of rules each time we sit down and play a game, are so okay with breaking rules
Yeah.
to other things outside of gaming.
Yeah.
Like in gaming, one of the examples, who's the husband and wife that are on the show, real deep voice. Oh man,
Oh, deep voice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who that is. That's not that's not the photography
Anyway,
group. Yeah. Couple.
they talked about how in gaming, how it's not okay to walk in and be like, oh, we get $5 per round, but I'm gonna take 20. Like, nobody's gonna care.
I
I'm gonna
remember-
take 20.
Remember him saying that?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's because we agree to a subset of rules for this game. But
Right.
when it comes to gaming convention, right, the rules say don't check out a game for more than 4 hours,
Yeah.
but you will check out that game and then hold it the whole con,
Right.
right?
Yep.
You're okay with one subset of rules, but not another. It's kind of an interesting. But let me give an example, Wayne, before we go, about how I've seen it done well, the play and take. Now, it's a different setup because this company has the funds for it. I'm talking about Cool Mini or Not, CMON Expo
Okay, yeah.
2019.
Probably
2019,
a
May
couple
of
years ago.
2019?
Yeah.
Cool Mini or Not, CMON Expo. They had play and take, but each time they did a demo of the game,
Right.
the winner of the game got to take the game home
Right.
and all the upgraded bits. So like Potion Explosion, you got to take home the playmat and everything that went with it, right? So, and they had multiple sessions of that. So multiple sessions of like different games where you get to play the game and the winner got to take that copy home with them.
Yeah.
Was it supposed to only be first-time players?
No,
No?
it just said anyone and everyone.
Yeah. So you could sit down and play.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which would.
So, they've done similar at Necro in the past. Like after that sort of debacle with the take and play, win to play. What they would do is like if I ran a game of Rococo and I had 6 slots, they would hand me 6 tickets and then 2 additional. So every player got 1 ticket entry in the drawing for the end of the con. The one additional ticket would go to the winner, and then a second ticket would be for up to the GM's discretion to give to the best player or the courteous player or somebody that pointed out, hey, you made a mistake there, you don't want to do that or something, or the newbie player, so that so you allow, not only do you reward sort of the winner, you also have a little bit of reward for good play and or the newbie or the first time board gamer that's still learning type
That's
thing.
a much
So
better
I
way to
think
do it.
rewarding both sides of the spectrum
That takes a lot of manpower, though. Running all
Yeah,
the games.
for
But I
sure.
do like that.
I was gonna say it's interesting all the different variations you can do on that because I know a couple years ago at Dice Tower Con, probably 4 years ago, there was what they did is they had little tournaments, but the tournaments were with games that weren't out yet, and so or were just coming out, so really nobody had a chance to play them. So I remember I played Bring Out Your Dead that year, which I want to say was made by. I can't remember off the top of my head, so I don't want to guess.
And we don't have computers today.
Yeah,
we are
don't-
live
yeah,
from the hotel.
Live from the hotel. But they did a thing where so pretty much nobody had played it, and William and I both entered that tournament. And then they had it was probably like 20 people who entered, and then they eliminated people after a couple of plays of the game. And then when it got down to like the final 4 or whatever it was, they gave each person a copy of the game, which was kind of cool. So I mean, it was a little tournament, so it got your competitive juices flowing. It's like, hey, I'm going to enter this tournament. But from the beginning, they had to teach everybody the rules of the game, how to play, so nobody had an advantage. Nobody, was already a master at that game, so you were all coming in kind of at the same level, and it was just kind of a fun thing to do. And then they gave away 4 copies of the game at the end, which was cool. So
That's cool. The way they do it at Sobo to kind of mitigate some of that is so all the games have a QR code. Your badge has a QR code. So I mean, if the guy at the library sees you checking out 40 games in the span of a couple minutes, a couple hours,
bringing it right back an hour later.
Yeah, that mitigates it to an extent.
So
Well, let me clear this out. Bring Out Your Dead, 2015 title published by Upper Deck
Upper Deck. I was
Entertainment.
going to say I thought it was a card game card company, but Upper Deck, that's who it was. I was going to say Tops, but
Well, Wayne, that's great conversation, man. Anything else you got for the folks at home?
Yeah. No, just excited. I just got my Kickstarter edition of Canvas, the
I
Deluxe
saw
edition,
that.
and the
Of what?
expansion.
Canvas.
So,
That's been rolling out to everybody.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard
Canvas.
cannabis.
Oh no, not that game. It's a
We're
little
in-
different.
hey,
Not in Colorado. Okay.
not legal in Florida yet. Yeah. No, I'm excited. That's the game. I unpacked it. Carlos, you'd love it. It came with sleeves for all cards already.
Boo.
Well, it has to be sleeved though. It's
My
a card
man.
crafting system.
Oh yeah, Canvas.
It's
You're
like
right. It's a
Mythic
card
Veil.
crafting thing, so you have to do that. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Wayne, I want to give you a shout out, man. We did that video together of the playthrough of
Libertalia?
Libertalia, and it is in my list of games, of the most recent games. It's like 12 or videos of my list of videos. It's like 12 videos deep before we get to one with more views than our views of Libertalia Winds of Galecrest.
Nice, popular.
So it is a popular video that we did. And I think we're getting together next week, right, to play some more games because I really want to get Chocolate Factory
Yeah.
to the table.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm down.
So you weren't there the other day to play Chocolate Factory on a live copy or a hard copy, right?
No, that was at game day.
That was at game day.
He has a mysterious ability to avoid game days. It seems like, but yeah.
That's why I didn't think he was real.
Yeah.
He kept talking about how he lived in Tampa. He's right nearby.
Yeah.
He says he lives within 15 minutes of me,
Phantom guy.
but he never showed up for any events.
Phantom guy. Yeah.
Ever. Until one day he shows up at my
I
house.
was at the zoo in D.C. looking at panda bears. I can't, my wife and kid.
That's not
they
bad.
wanted to-
Ling Ling and Sing Sing, although now I'm dating myself because that was like 20 years ago. I think one of them's dead now. But yeah, we used to go up and see Ling Ling and Sing Sing all the time over at the National Zoo when we lived up there.
I'm curious to know once you play on the hard copy, Wayne, what your opinion is because Rob said he doesn't like
we've
it
got
as
this
much.
debate. I just find it really fiddly because I played the digital version first, and it takes care of all the little fiddly bits, and it takes care of all the scoring for you, of course, which every digital version is really going to do. But then when I played it in person, I still liked the game. I still think it's a great game, really. I really enjoy it. But it was just that whole thing of you got to take this, put it on the conveyor, slide it over, and then you're immediately going to take it back off and turn it into something else. Then you slide it one more time, you're going to immediately take it off and trade it for something else. Just the fiddly. I mean, just having to put something on and then turn around and take it back off. And I know that's what these two guys liked. They liked the tactile of having to pick up the little piece, a little chocolate bar, and put it on there, and then turn it into a box of chocolates or wrapped candy or whatever it was. But I just found that to be really annoying to have to put it on, slide it one space, and then take it immediately back off, and then put something else back on the conveyor.
In any other game, I would agree with you, but it's just it makes me want
That's
to go
the
eat
gimmick.
chocolate. Exactly.
Like, you
Yeah, I
don't buy
guess. Yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
Tower and not have to push the button for the Dark Tower.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the gimmick.
Yeah, I found it fiddly. But yeah, try it and see what you think when you get a chance to play with us. We'll talk
Yeah,
to you.
I'm
about
looking forward to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the physical copy and giving it a shot. I think I'll probably be somewhere in between, where I think it's got to slow the gameplay down compared to the online version.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit
Definitely.
because of that move. I haven't manipulated, but I am looking forward to giving that a shot.
But how many games can we say that for, right? You're not going to play Terraforming Mars and
Yeah, a
say
lot.
that the digital version didn't speed it up for you.
And the bits are cool. I like
Sure.
the little bits, but it's just so fiddly.
One tip at home for y'all folks at home playing Chocolate Factory by Alley Cat Games, really awesome title,
Yeah, it's good.
is grab your 3 cocoa beans,
Just set them
or your beans
set 'em in front of you.
right in front of you, right? And then
Yeah.
you put them on your tray and on your crates before the turn even starts, and all you're doing is moving them over.
I got to where I didn't even put them on because I knew I was going to immediately convert them.
I mean, I know tonight we're gonna go be visiting some of New Orleans. We're gonna go with some Foster's.
That's false.
But it is Foster, yeah. At
Then we're gonna get some
Brennan's.
Hurricanes over at
Hurricanes over at Pat O'Brien's.
right,
So
right.
Today
Walk
is
on
St.
the
Patrick's
street
Day.
with
We
them.
should mention that.
and
St.
we're gonna
Patrick's
walk
Day.
around outside drinking,
Yeah,
which
again,
is cool.
Open carry, yeah.
Right, open carry for alcohol and board games apparently.
Yeah.
Yep. Only be on the sun though.
Oh, of course.
And then after that, I've got Chocolate Factory, so we could play here, right?
We're gonna get hammered drunk, come back to the hotel and play track of factory.
I'll
What you
win,
say?
'cause I
And
don't
we're gonna have
drink.
all those little bits that nobody's gonna mess up when we're drunk,
There you go.
fiddling those little bits back and forth. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Follow me for more board gaming tips.
Anyway, thanks for calling in, Wayne. We appreciate your call,
good.
and we'll talk to you when we get back from Tampa.
No problem, guys.
See you next week.
Good night.
Enjoy. Have a good night.
Bye.
That's funny.
I'm glad having Wayne there. I didn't realize he lived so close to me. That's pretty cool.
We're just right in the corner.
He's
Yeah.
halfway
Right.
between us.
You know what's
Lutz.
funny? Whenever you said like, "Oh, he lives close to me," I'm from a very small town,
Oh,
and
you're
I'm like,
not
"Oh,
close
okay,
as
he's like a
close.
minute," and you go 15 minutes away. 15 minutes away, I'm in a different city.
Oh no, yeah.
Wow. Depending on which way I go, So
Yeah. That's close in Tampa. 15 minutes is just a traffic jam. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, whenever I went to Tampa, when I was going to your house, Carlos, I'm looking and it's like, oh, it's X number of miles. That's not far, and it's like
Yeah,
takes
it's
me almost an hour.
20-30 minute drive.
In Louisiana, well, okay, maybe not in New Orleans or the big cities, but
Yeah.
at least in New Iberia, if it's 10 miles away, it's gonna take you about 10 minutes.
Oh, come on. It's
rough.
New Iberia. Really? I mean, come on.
What
Who's
I
heard
want to
of
know
New
is
Iberia?
where's original Iberia? I think that's
Iberian
a question.
Peninsula.
Oh, okay. So it's
It
over
was
in
founded
the
by
other,
the Spanish.
other side of the world. Yeah.
Dang, bro. Like a pandemic. Is there a pandemic Iberia?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I own it. Yeah.
So, do you have that? You should
It
have brought
makes sense. Like I was asking you earlier today, this is Orleans.
Orleans.
Orleans. Yeah.
Orleans. Orleans.
You gotta get the phlegm in there. Orleans.
Like a croissant.
Croissant.
And I'm
All right, we
like,
just
what
lost
is
half our
up with
viewers.
Yeah. Nobody's watching anymore.
813-618-7099? If ever you don't like the topic, you can call in and change it.
Change it for us.
That's the awesomeness of this show. If you don't like the topic, call in and change
Speaking of our
Yeah.
topic, we haven't talked about it at all, really.
Orleans.
Yeah, Orleans.
it. But I did ask you, what's up
Orleans.
with the why is this new Orleans versus
Old Orleans?
old Orleans? And you kind of put it together for me. There's a New Hampshire. Apparently, there was an old Hampshire over in
I
the
think it's probably
UK.
Hampshire.
Yeah.
Hampshire.
Just like this is
New
Orleans. and this is
York.
Orleans. Yeah.
And there's New Orleans. So it's all kind of making sense. New Iberia, and then there's the Iberian Peninsula. But Iberia is Spanish, isn't it?
Yeah, New Iberia was
Oh,
founded
it
by the
is, yeah.
Spanish.
Oh, so it is more of a Spanish area.
Well, all of Louisiana it switched back and forth between the Spanish and French several times.
Okay.
So, kind of landed with the French, so that's why a lot of us are French. But,
Until we ended up, USA ended up
well-
making that awesome Louisiana Purchase.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we know how to make a deal,
We
baby.
do like that. We like to buy stuff. Yeah.
Nobody makes a deal better than America makes a deal.
yes, we're responsible
Something
for
like that.
doubling the size of the United States.
That's
Louisiana
true.
for you.
That's true. That is Geography On with Beans and Dice.
And we are still a board game channel. Yeah.
Let's
So,
talk.
Carlos, it's been several years since you played early on. Me and Rob were a little bit more
Yeah.
familiar with it.
Yeah. Again,
How did that happen, though? Because, well, you know what? It was only a 3-point swing. I'm not going to
You don't
talk
need to
about it.
brag.
it was
He
close.
won.
Yeah,
What
no,
he's
no, it was
trying to say is
97
he
to
won.
100. So yeah, he won by 3 points.
It is.
so.
It is a humble brag. I got the win.
Well, what did you think? I mean, you haven't played in a while. Again, I was as we got the call there, I was talking about this was a top 5 game for me for years. Right now, I'd say it's top 10, top 15, maybe. Over
Really?
the last couple of years, it's I think it's right around number 10, maybe. Yeah.
So
What was your impression after not playing it for a couple of years?
Um,
Is it held up well?
So maybe
I'm really not sure what I did. I know what I did,
It's a point
but
salad.
how you did it.
It's a point salad.
yeah.
and I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I felt like with your knowledges of the game, because you two have played the game before,
Yeah.
in Orleans,
Yeah.
you are building a bag of tokens. The tokens represent different people, right? Like the brown token is a carpenter, right?
No, not a carpenter.
No.
It's the craftsman.
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 The blue tokens are
Seamen.
Seamen.
seamen. The black tokens are traders. The yellow tokens are monks, right? So you got these different workers that you're putting into a bag. And when you draw from the bag, you're going to draw anywhere between 5 and 8, 4 and 8,
4 and 8, yeah.
different tokens based on how you've built your engine. Then you're going to use those tokens to place them on locations on the board, almost like a worker placement game.
Yeah.
But you're going to need different combinations of workers to activate different sites on the board. The different sites on the boards are going to do things like give you new workers that you can add to the bag, almost like a deck builder, but it's a bag builder.
I put that in the same genre.
I guess in Louisiana we call it a sack.
Sack builder? Yeah. Sack
Making fun of me because I call my book sack a book sack. Apparently, it's a
Comment below. Is
Have
it
you ever heard of a book sack?
Is it a backpack,
A backpack or a book sack?
a book bag, a book pack,
I've heard book bag.
or a book sack?
book
book
sack.
sack.
Yeah.
I've never heard the words book sack.
I haven't heard that combination before. But
No.
Mr. Jeeves is in the chat saying he should play Orleans. I agree.
Oh, yeah. Orleans is a great game.
I don't disagree with you. Orleans is a good game, but there's so much going on this board.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what? It's not even the board. The board only has so many spots. You've got your board where you're going to transfer your workers that you drew that round to activate certain actions.
Right.
But then there's this other board, the town square board. And in the town square board, it's this very specific different action where you can send your folks to the town square. It's almost like a
King's
discard.
Castle. Yeah, you're sending them off to service the king, and they're no longer helping.
It's how you kind of get rid of cards out of your deck that you don't want
Right,
anymore.
color deck, yeah.
But that has a whole ton of options for things that you want to do.
Yep.
And then you got this board, and the board, when you take sail actions or wagon actions, you can move your meeple on this board where you can then establish different settlements on the board. And as you move around, you're going to gain different goods. So it really feels like there's so much going on decision-wise that I wasn't sure what I was doing. All I knew is that I heard you say, when you see someone doing one thing, you will tend to go the other way.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
you
Do
went
something different,
and
yeah.
did. I can't remember what you did.
I
Town
did lots
halls.
of different things, but I built the guild halls. Yeah,
Guild
all
halls.
over
You were
the place,
building guild
yeah.
halls. You were
Stealing
grabbing
money from you.
Mitchell
Right.
was stealing money from
Farming.
Carlos, yeah.
You were doing the farming
yeah,
thing.
He was farming. Yeah.
So I went the university route, and
Yep.
it felt like the university route when you're building scholars. That's the top. The gray workers are scholars. When you build scholars, that seemed to me like a late game activity.
Yeah.
Because that kind of moves you up on the multiplier
'Cause I
track.
raced up that track at the end. Yeah.
I went there early.
Yeah, you were there early and often. Yeah.
And I didn't expect to win because I really felt like there was going to be this clog, and it happened where I'm getting scholars.
Yeah, you gotta
but
get 'em out.
scholars only impact 2 locations
Right.
on the board.
you got to call those out of your bag. Yeah.
Right. And I'm getting mad at myself, like, oh, I got all these scholars, they keep coming out, but those actions kept moving me up on that multiplier board.
Although you maxed out that multiplier at the very last turn, you got all the way up to the 6, which is nice.
That's what wanted for me, was
Yeah.
getting that last little bit. I even built
Yeah.
a building that got me more action on that scholar
Because
track.
if you'd have come up one short of that, you wouldn't have won. That was what
Correct.
put you over the edge.
So the
yeah.
main scoring thing is a multiplier. So that track he's talking about, you start out at 0, you can get up to 6. But if you're at 6 and you have nothing to multiply it against, 6 times 0 is 0.
Yeah.
And so you want to be building.
Robert, you were sitting at 6
I
times
was for
0.
a long time,
Well, no,
halfway
it
through
was
the game.
the opposite. He had like 6 guild halls built and a couple of citizens,
Right,
but they were
'cause-
being multiplied by
But 0, yes, that was a big
You
old.
kind of did it
goose egg.
backwards.
Yeah.
Like Carlos ran up the right half of the multiplier, you
Yeah.
ran up the left half, and you were both sitting at 0 until
Yeah,
the
the
end.
different
Yeah.
axes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then at the end, you guys kind of
Switched
bumped up on the
gears,
other
yeah.
one.
Switched, traded.
Yeah, you started to go up the multiplier board, and
Yeah.
then I started grabbing citizens
You
because
and guild halls was the other thing. I mean, in the
Yes.
end, you were building guild halls all over the place. So yeah,
I was wagoneering.
I think I've told this to Rob before we even played. I like the game, but I've never been good at it because,
Yeah.
with board games, you try to maximize, right, and be efficient. And so that town hall board you're talking about, whenever you're committing your workers there, you're getting an immediate benefit. You might be getting a really big benefit if you're completing each of those sections.
Yeah.
But whenever you do that, you're losing that worker. And so I always feel if I have this worker left over, hey, I might as well send him over there and get a temporary benefit. But whenever you're doing that early game, that hurts you.
The
in
town
two ways.
hall?
Right.
Yeah.
So first of all,
Because
you're-
it's a discard.
That's what I felt. Yeah,
They
you were
never
getting,
come
You were
back.
getting rid of too many chits out of your bag too early.
So what
Yeah.
happened is I don't have those workers to
Right.
use, but also it's really better to do it late game because then if you're completing them, you're getting citizens,
Right.
increasing your multiplier.
You want to go to the second half.
And
yeah.
like consciously, I know that it's not the right way to go. It's just I don't know. Whenever I feel I got this guy sitting here, I can't do anything with him. Might as well send him off to the court.
get rid of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there were multiple turns where I did have workers left. The track on the bottom of the board, of your player board, allows for 8 spots to be filled.
Right.
So it's got this cool dynamic, right? You're going to draw tokens, almost like cards, from a deck builder, but these are tokens in a bag builder, up to the number that you are on the red track.
castle track.
The
Yeah.
castle track. So it starts at 4, 5, 6, 7, and then finally 8. 8's the hardest to get to. You got to get like 2 levels up
Yep.
on that engine building to
Yep,
get that
yep,
8th
yep.
one, right? 7, I think, is where I ended up.
Get the citizen, yeah.
Right. But the board at the bottom only has 8 spots.
Yep.
So what Mitch is talking about is if you leave workers behind at the end of a round, on the following round, you only have 5, 6 spots left on the board. So you really can't maximum draw your 7,
Yep.
right? Because you can only draw up to 8.
Yeah.
So I feel where Mitch felt, where I was like, oh, geez, if I leave these 3 workers down here, I'm only going to be able to draw 5, although I'm allowed to draw 7.
You cut yourself
because
short.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted to move them into different places. So what I started doing, Mitch, is that preemptive planning. Instead of sending them to the town square
Town hall,
spot,
yeah.
I started putting that farmer on a wagon action. Okay, I'll use that farmer for a wagon action. I don't have enough to trigger the wagon action this round,
Let them set up there.
but I have to commit to
You
next
gotta
round.
pre-plan.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Well, there is one kind of benefit to doing that in that it's different from a deck builder because in a deck builder you're always going to cycle through all your cards. You could get a wild,
yeah.
which is a monk, put in your bag and never draw it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the only good thing about me doing that, I had such a small deck that a lot of the turns I knew exactly
Right.
what I was going to draw.
draw the same
I was
thing
gonna
over
draw
and over.
everything I needed.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's give and take. Obviously, it didn't work. out
Except
this
for when a
time,
plague happened, you always drew that monk. When you
Oh,
needed
yeah,
him.
yeah. One of his starters, yeah.
but- yeah.
Or no, the monk. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't one of the starters. It was the monk.
It was a monk.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
drew
monk.
this monk right after he bought his monk.
Oh.
I drew a monk. It's a plague. Okay, so plague or event. So one of the cool parts of Orleans is each round, and y'all
round
folks at
tracker.
home, tell me what you think.
Yeah, the round tracker for the game.
Each round of the game, the round tracker. How many rounds are there?
It's like
Was
it's
16?
16,
6
I
times
think.
3, 6, 12, 18. 18.
18 rounds.
Yep.
And it's going to be the same events every game. There's 3 of each event. There are 6 different events. So you know the number of events that are going to happen.
Right.
And you know which events are going to happen. What you don't know is the order that they're going to happen.
Right.
Right. When you pay taxes, when you have a plague, when you have
Income.
what's the one when they get the pilgrimage?
Oh, pilgrimage.
Where
You can't get monks. Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about that, knowing that every game I know the arc
Well,
of
again,
the game.
This is the base game where it actually it's even more random because I mentioned the first expansion they had. You don't use those, and you actually have a board that pre-prescribes all 18 rounds of the game, and it tells you you can actually look in round 17. This is going to be the event that happens. It has different events, so there are some that are not in the base game. And they did that probably as a bit of a balancing because some of them are more penalizing as you play. So you have to plan for that thing that's going to happen in 3 rounds, or you're just never going to be prepared for it when it actually happens.
That definitely changes the game a good
Well,
bit.
this one's Will.
Oh,
so we got a phone call.
coming in.
I thought you
yeah.
were screening.
I
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
sure what that was.
No,
but
that's
yeah.
Will. We know who
We
it
just
is.
Let him come straight through.
Hey, William, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
How's it? Are you
Not
holding
much,
it down
guys.
in
How's it
Tampa
going?
for us? You're holding it down in Tampa. How's it going?
Dude, it's been nasty here, man. We had there was a tiny little water spout, did some damages to some homes
What?
over there in Pasco County.
I saw there was
so-
a tornado down in Bradenton or Sarasota day before yesterday.
Yeah, we actually had it legitimately. I was watching TV and I was like, "What's this mess?"
Yeah, they showed it on,
And
on
like
the news.
the national broadcasting, I was like, "Oh, okay, there's tornadoes out there."
Nice.
so, so yeah.
So what have you been up
So
to?
otherwise than that, cleaning, relaxing, catching up on sleep on my spring break.
That's right.
That's
It
pretty
is
much
spring
it.
break for Florida. So Robert's in Pasco County.
Yep.
I'm in Hillsborough County. I think William's in Pasco. No, you might be in Hillsborough.
Hillsborough. Yeah, he's Hillsborough.
He's on the south side of
I'm
Carolina.
on Hillsborough side.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we are all on spring break at the same time. And apparently the beaches were overloaded because not only were the schools out for spring break, the universities, USF,
Oh, yeah.
HEC,
Yeah.
all the different universities were also
Florida
on spring
almost,
break.
Yeah.
So there were thousands
Oh,
of
on the
people at the
beach.
beaches this week.
Yeah.
I was so glad to get out of Florida for
Get-
this
get
week.
sucked up in those tornadoes. Yeah.
And nobody wants to drive right now for gas prices.
Oh, you're telling me, brother. Oh my God, every stop has
Carlos
been
drove.
rough.
to
I flew.
Louisiana.
I got my plane tickets before the jet
Probably
fuel prices
cheaper
went
than
up.
what he paid.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm almost sure it was cheaper.
Did you get any gaming activities
No.
done with spring break here? Anything, any
Only
painting,
on-
any
only
modeling?
you
What
guys
you got
got-
going on?
Only on that Saturday we got to play games. That was it. I didn't get to play much. I'm in that situation all game to go through where just life just gets in the way.
No,
So-
Saturday was game day, and that's why we do it once a month. Because
Yeah.
for some folks, that once a month, that's it for gaming. That's all they're going to get out of a month
Yeah,
of
I
gaming.
know. But that's not enough for me, man. That IV drip needs to be a little bit stronger.
What games did you play at the last Beans and
I was
Dice?
going to bring up specifically the Rome game that you guys played. I really enjoyed that on my first play. And I know you introduced
Levi
Carlos.
Rose to Rome.
Yeah,
We
you
played
introduced
that.
Carlos to it.
Carlos, what do you think about it? Because you said that Rob liked it, so you had to give it a shot. So
Hey, what'd you think? I really liked it. I thought it was really good.
I struggled
Oh, did
at
you?
the beginning with it. I couldn't figure it out. Right.
okay.
And the reason was it roams via VIA. I can't VIAVE. I think it is VIAV.
no,
Is the-
VIAE.
VIAE. So look it up. VIAE Roads to Rome. It's a self-published title from 2019. I'm glad William brought it. It is not a war game, right? And that's kind of what kept me away
No,
from it.
it's like a Euro.
It is more Euro-y,
Yeah.
but it does have some war game aspects in the take that. So that the Deceptio deck, the Deception deck, has a lot of take that actions.
Yeah.
And at first, I was even like, I don't like this. Y'all just keep like hitting me and randomness. Brr. I was getting a little grouchy. And then it hit me, right? I was playing very conservative. I normally play very conservatively in most things. The name of the game isn't to stay away from the cities that are in revolt. It is to conquer
take over.
cities in revolt.
Yeah.
That's where the points came from. That's where David Carlton won the game.
Oh, yeah.
Because instead of every time a city went into revolt or awareness, awareness or mobilize are the two titles. Effectively, they're in revolt.
Okay.
They're harder to conquer.
Okay.
I stayed away from those cities. I went after the easy cities. David went after the tough cities because they give you more glory, and that glory is your final victory points.
Okay.
So once you learn that, you know what, you play like Rome. Anybody that talks back, you
Smack
give them the
'em down.
backhand. you hit them, and that's where your points come from. And that changed my whole perspective on the game, and that made me give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it was a pretty close game. It was 25-20 and like 19. We
Okay.
just let David run off the last few points in the end because I was like, I was looking at him. I was like, dude, do something. I can't do anything else. And you just looked at me. And what does Carlos do? He attacks me.
Of course. Well, there's nothing better to do to attack William. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
So,
William had
yeah, he hit
19,
me.
I had 20, and David Carlton had 25. And as you can see, William and I spent a lot of time hurting each other, which allowed David to kind of run away with it. But my recommendation is I love the fact that it is a self-published title. You know, somebody went out on their own, created a game, put it together.
Could have
Number
had
two-
a better name for marketing purposes.
Yes,
man.
for
Yeah, it's-
Pete's
I
sake.
can't pronounce it. I don't. Every time I've tried to look at it, it's like,
I just call it Roads to Rome. I just call it
Yeah.
Roads.
That would have been
Roads to Rome.
smarter.
That's what I call it. I don't call it the other thing.
And he,
The other
I,
thing.
I
There's no-
sent
there's
out
no
the
other game that has that.
Instagram, and I tagged the company with it, and he replied in there thanking us for playing the game.
Oh,
and
nice.
bringing-
Cool. Yeah, that's
So I
cool.
mean, that's pretty cool when the publisher / designer,
Yeah.
thanks you for playing his game. So I'm gonna recommend it for y'all folks to at least try it. If you know someone that has it, try it. It's not a war game. It is Euro-esque.
It's pretty Euro. That's why I liked it.
You're
Yeah.
building roads. You're using those roads to get resources. You're using those resources to build up your armies.
There's definitely a little nastiness to it. I know right off the bat, I did something where I just automatically got to take over one of Dan's cities on the other side of the map, and that set the tone for the whole game. But yeah, it was
Oh, yeah, that's what Carlos did to me. He goes, "Oh, you like that port? You took that away from me."
fun. Nice.
Damn, man.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty backstabby. There's definitely a lot of player interaction in that one. Yeah.
What else did you play Saturday
But,
game day?
You know, man, I it was nice to get out of the house and enjoy just being around people. I played the Roads to Rome, and then I think I was watching a lot of people playing some tabletop mini games there that day. And then we had played the last bit of Chocolate Factory
You
for
see-
Rob.
yeah,
Rob,
see,
I
I-
almost got it for you, bro.
Yeah, I know. It was like you
Did he tell you what
quit?
happened?
I played. I had to leave, but it was like, I played 7 out of 8 rounds, and then you took over the last round, and we lost on a tiebreaker.
Yeah, that's a crazy
at the end of the
tiebreaker,
game. That's so
man.
stupid. Whoever was left of the first player or whatever in the first round wins. Come on.
Yeah, I was like, give me a break. There should be something like, who
it
produced
makes
the most
sense.
chocolate or something.
Right. Well, they had a slight disadvantage because they got to go first one less time or something. Oh, come on.
Well, yeah,
Really?
so-
Oh, come on.
It was 116 for Nick
Tied
Oben
116.
and 116 for Rob.
And Nick is the guy in our group who never loses. So, I mean, it was a thing. I was going to beat Nick.
Well, he got 36 points in that last round, Rob. I got you
Oh.
47 or 46 points
Oh,
like
okay.
that in that last turn.
All right. Yeah. Well,
And
I
was
was
like,
going long term.
skyrocketed. You went through the roof, and I was like, all right. I was like, this is it. I sold everything except for one piece of chocolate.
Ugh.
And I was like, okay, maybe that should be it. You know, whoever has the least amount of chocolate left, maybe that's a tiebreaker. No, and then he reads the rule. I'm like, all right, I don't like the game.
Ruins the whole experience. All ruined. Yeah,
It
right
ruined-
there.
that kind of tie-breaking rule is stupid.
It's kind of
crappy.
like baseball. Like the home team hits
Yeah,
last, and if they
please.
hit it, score a run, they walk off, and they're done.
Give me a ghost runner or something. Come on, really? Come on, really?
A Texas tiebreaker.
Yeah, exactly.
David Carlton was at 114, so Rob was tied for the win
close
at
game.
116. David Carlton at 114. That seems like a lot of points, though.
Yeah.
In your games of Chocolate Factory, Mitchell, have you seen the 100+ scores? How often?
In games of like 2 people, I see it, but in 4-player games, I guess you're more undercutting each other. They usually tend to be lower scoring.
And I had 93, so I was like way outside of it.
Yeah. That was my second play of the game, and it's definitely an enjoyable game. Like I say, I preferred the digital version just because of the fiddliness, but it's a fun game. I really like Chocolate Factory. It's a hidden gem. I'd say it's a game a lot of people need to try if you like
Engine building.
engine building.
For
Yeah.
me, it's the
Yeah.
engine building feeling of like a Gizmos or a Wingspan, but it's that theme of the
but you were struggling,
chocolatiering.
man.
And I really like
Yes.
the drafting aspect of it too. That's a part that they probably didn't have to have in the game, but I really like games with drafting.
Because you're like screwing somebody else over.
Yeah,
He
well,
always
partially,
takes
yeah.
the double package.
No, you say that, but I think I did only one time that last game.
You
but-
show up on Thursday
Yeah, all right.
with Wayne,
let's
and
do
we
it.
will play it on
All right,
video,
we'll do
and
it.
the folks at
We'll
home will
do
be
it.
able to see.
We'll do it.
Robert will
Yeah.
take
I did
the
get to play.
package.
I did also get to play Res Arcana with David.
Oh, that's a great
Play his
game.
copy. So he didn't know how to play it. So I taught him how to play it. and we
All right,
played
so
it, and
Res Arcana has been something I've been looking at because of the engine building aspect,
You
and
never
I've never played it. I've never seen it.
Oh, man.
I've never seen it.
You got to play Res Arcana.
William, tell me about Res Arcana and why I would like it. Knowing me, so tell me about Res Arcana and why I
all
would
right,
like it.
You will never truly. This is a game where you truly will never have the same game ever, no
Oh,
matter
yeah.
what. When you play it, because there's a deck of 40 cards that are called artifacts. And at the start of the game, there's a draft variant, which is what we didn't play it because that was his first game. But
Yeah.
I recommend doing the draft variant.
Oh, yeah, for
but
sure.
anyway, if you're the new player, each player gets dealt 8 artifact cards, and then 2 mages, and you look at everything you have, and then you select the mage you want to start with.
Those 8
And that's
cards
it. Those
are
8
all you're
cards,
going to have the
that's it.
whole
That's
game.
it.
Yep.
The
get
whole
You
game?
get a deck of 8
So you
cards, and
gotta-
that is it.
It's almost like The King
gotta
is
map-
Dead. You got your 8 cards,
Yeah.
and you got to figure out how to use them.
A little bit. Yep, exactly. And that's what that draft variant is really important in that game. Although the last
Yeah.
time I played, I didn't play with the draft either because we were teaching somebody new, and you just kind of got what you got. But it's kind of like terraforming Mars, playing that without the draft. I mean, it makes a huge difference in the game. You can play it without the draft, but and I know Mitchell disagrees. We've talked about this before, but yeah, the draft makes all the difference
No,
in
I
that
would,
game.
I would say this is a game where the draft is super important based on, because when you see if there's 3 players, you're going to have 23, 26 cards, something like that.
24. Yep.
I
Math.
forgot what,
Math
8
is
times
24
3 is
cards.
24.
You have
Yeah.
24 cards, right? So you need to look at the 24 cards because that's it for the whole game. You
Yep.
don't want to make sure that player A has got the greatest cards in his deck because he's going to score 10 points, and that's it. That's the name of the game. Whoever gets the 10 points the first
Yep. Game ends
Um,
immediately as soon as somebody hits 10. Yeah.
usually wins. And it's not guaranteed.
Well, right. You could
because
go to 11 or 12. Yeah.
You go 11 or 12, but as soon as the final phase of the round is check for victory, and we check to see if someone scored 10. But if you know that someone's going to score 10, you may want to push yourself to get the 11 or the 12th point. I don't think I've ever seen 13, but it's just, whoever can get to 10 points the fastest. It's a really fast-like game once you get
I was going to say,
to
it's
the rule.
usually under an
I think
hour.
rule book
Under
is
an
like
hour?
4
Yeah.
pages.
Now, Michael Lorenzo, when he
Yeah,
called, he
rulebook is like
talked
4
about
pages.
it, and some of the fields that I heard him talking about reminded me of like Furnace. You own Furnace. You taught me Furnace. How does Res Arcana and Furnace, how do they compare and contrast?
They both get.
Do they feel like alike, or was I wrong in that thought? I thought they sounded alike. Am I wrong?
You are right in the aspect of you have to do with whatever limited amount of resources you're going to get.
Did
You
Will
only
just
have
say that
4 rounds
Carlos
of
is right?
Furnace. In this game,
I got that on
Oh,
recording.
William just said Carlos is right, just so everybody knows. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, he's right. But I think it's a fun thing.
He's
But anyway.
rescinding that comment.
Yeah.
No. I'll give it to him because he's over there. He's on vacation. He's got.
Oh,
he's
gotta be nice to him
himself.
on vacation. Yeah.
But no, you're a limited amount of resources, and in Furnace is 4 rounds. In Res Arcana, I think an average game, the rounds like less than 8.
Yeah.
And it might even,
I think I saw
and it's
6 to
quick,
7
because
is the average for that game. Yep, 6 to 7 rounds.
because once you exhausted all your cards, that's it. You have to pass, and then the other player probably getting close to passing, and then you just re-rack, and then you just keep going again.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna have to try it out.
It's
Who owns this?
It's a great game. I know Michael Lorenzo talked it up big time when he was here. I think he ended up getting the Kickstarter.
I bought a copy of it.
Yeah,
Did you buy one,
It's
William?
really good. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, I bought
BJ
one. I bought
just-
it on one sale. I got it for like $12.
BJ just said it's in the Sobo library.
it's
There
in
we
the
go.
library. There we go.
Well, we need to play it then at Gen Con. I'll teach, or Gen Con at Sobo.
Gen
I'll teach
Con,
it to you.
Lafayette,
Gen Con.
Louisiana, 2022.
Yeah, big time. You guys just made a big
I
step
highly
up.
recommend. I highly recommend it, even for really in our group. There's no such thing as a new player.
Yeah.
I should say it's mostly like the newer rules.
Yeah, normally if you
really,
find us,
really need
it's
to
because
do-
you're into gaming.
Yeah, and it's just got a handful of rules. The biggest thing for people to get over in that game is the symbology. I've taught it a couple of times, and it's just the symbology. The
Yeah.
symbology, once you learn the symbology, it doesn't look like it makes sense, but it's just a new set of symbols that you got to learn. Once you learn them, the game, any card you pull in the game has the same set of symbols. And so once you learn the symbology and this means this, then it's really a simple game.
David Duga agrees with
And
you,
if you're gonna
Carlos,
play-
that those two games are similar.
Furnace and
Res Arcana.
Yeah, I would say
I've
they're
never
similar.
thought of
I
it
would
that
say it's a
way.
good comparison. Yeah, I would agree.
Well, William, thanks for
If you're
sharing,
gonna play
man.
Carlos, don't be afraid to discard. Don't be afraid to discard cards for resources. I know you hate.
People
losing
forget
Yes.
that.
something
Yeah,
to
people
your
forget
hand.
that.
Will,
Yeah.
I will say Mitchell had no problems doing that today in our game of Orleans.
Didn't work out.
He was just chucking his
Yeah.
tokens away.
Yeah, he put them
I
all
was
up there.
hanging on to him.
He was
to
supposed
the end.
able to draw like 5 or 6, and he was only drawing like I remember one round you only drew 2. I was like, hold on, you got to
Yeah.
draw more tokens. Like, no, that's all I got left in the bag. And I was like, whoa, okay, all right, yep. Anyway,
Just killing off his people.
yeah, exactly.
Some of you may die,
All right,
but that is
guys,
a risk
you
I'm
enjoy-
willing to take.
Make sure you
What is it, Lord Farquaad
Yeah.
over
make sure
here?
you eat some good Louisiana food, man.
Oh, we will. We've been eating it up today, and
Oh, we're gonna go get
yeah.
some Bananas Fosters
Actually,
now.
as soon
So
as
on
the
that
show's
note,
over, yeah, we're getting
you
Bananas
are the
Foster.
last caller because we are gonna go get some Bananas Foster and
Yeah.
some hurricanes.
Yeah, hurricanes at Pat O'Brien's.
Oh yeah, enjoy.
All right, William. Thanks for calling, man.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Maybe next time, man.
See you, Bobby.
You guys have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Before
We're
we
gonna go
hang up,
ce-
there's another comment I want to read real quick.
Celebrate
No,
St.
no,
Patrick's
catch us
Day,
up on
but-
the
yeah, go
comments.
ahead,
Any
go ahead.
comments?
David Dugas said, and I'm sure he'll be at Sobo. He's from Lafayette. Finally, a good board game show in Louisiana is what the state's been missing.
Hey, nice.
I would say this might be the Beyond the Sun of board game shows in Louisiana.
Really?
And then
Oh.
BJ responded, "Wow."
I don't know about that. Yeah. nice. But yeah, we're gonna go celebrate some St. Patty's Day because today is
Yeah,
St.
I got my
Patrick's
green
Day.
shirt on.
We're gonna go walk Bourbon Street here in New Orleans. Nolans.
And with that, that's the
Yeah, again, we'll wrap up on that little
New
Nolans.
Orleans.
New Orleans.
I'm Carlos,
I'm Rob.
I'm Mitchell.
and we are the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about.
How we
How we
game.
game.
Thanks for watching, folks. We will catch you next week. Actually, you know what? We will probably live stream this weekend from
Yeah,
Sobo.
for
So
sure.
just keep an ear out. Make
an
sure
eye
you
on the channel.
hit that bell. It'll notify you when we go live because Robert and I are going to go live this
Oh, yeah, for
weekend
sure.
from Sobo.
Yep.
Mitchell and I are going to record our podcast because it's due Sunday this week from Sobo, live from Sobo, recording the podcast. So make sure you check out your whatever system you use to subscribe to podcasts. Check it out. We had a great episode last time. We talked about
How to teach games?
how to
we
teach games,
Yeah.
and then we reviewed
Chocolate Factory.
Chocolate Factory.
There you go.
Yeah, and then we're gonna play Chocolate Factory this week. So check us out on the podcast.
Also, I Heart Board Games is streaming the whole con. That's what BJ mentioned earlier.
Okay.
We'll be on it both days.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna
check-
be visiting with them too.
Yeah, we're gonna do a live playthrough and all kinds of good stuff from.
It's gonna be a lot of
Sobo.
gaming and a lot of gaming content this week. So just hit the bell, subscribe, let your friends know what we're trying to do here. We
Yep.
will see you online, and then next Thursday you call in and take over the show and talk about what you've been up to.
And to steal from BJ, laissez les bon temps rouler.
Hey, we got another one in.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.